Hello, hello. Happy Thursday, fam. Welcome to another weekly training here with me. And today I'm going to be talking about a very common thing that pops up on every check-in, and I understand why. How to get 10,000 steps a day, even if you have a desk job. Yes. If you don't know, if you haven't noticed yet, or if you just had no clue what I do, except when I'm talking with you guys, I have a very sedentary job. Yeah, I work on my computer pretty much the whole entire day, on calls, on meetings, trainings, creating stuff. So I am technically sedentary if I don't intentionally go out for a walk, go to the gym, do something. Okay. My job is sitting in my butt all day, every day. So I totally get where you guys are coming from. Majority of you also have a very sedentary job and have to intentionally put focus on getting those steps in. And if you don't get it. And another thing is the fact that it's starting to get colder. Winter's coming, and for some of us up north here, we know that's going to be a little harder to go out and to enjoy a nice, pleasant walk outside, just because it's not going to be as pleasant outside, especially here in Canada. So we have to create ways to increase more movement, to add more movement to our days, and literally be creative with it. Otherwise, we'll still be sedentary. So today, this is what's all about. And also because I have noticed that not a lot of you are putting intention into it. And especially after you've achieved a certain goal, or after you've noticed that you've made some progress, and it's natural human behavior. We're all the same. We start to slack a little bit on the key foundational things, right? We start to become a little more complacent and not put as much effort into doing those things. As you may know, getting the results, getting the end results, and building the lifestyle truly is not just a matter of what you're eating and the workouts that you do in the gym, right? And oftentimes, people will put a lot of emphasis on going to the gym and sweating a lot and doing their workouts, but they're not intentionally creating a lifestyle that allows them to become a more active person, which will therefore lead to a healthier, longer life. And obviously keep the weight off and keep the fat off, and just being more active in general, prevent a lot of diseases just by like walking more, for example. But you'll put a lot of focus on what you do in that 1 hour in the gym, and you forget that 23 hours of your day you're leaving outside of the gym, right? And you're not putting any intention on what you're doing outside of the gym. So you're, and then once you hit a certain level of success, as I mentioned, like once you've made some progress and you've noticed some progress, you start to slack a little bit into each of those activities. So you're not as consistent as you were in the beginning with your steps. You're not as diligent with your nutrition as you were in the beginning. You're not as intentional with your workouts as you were in the beginning. You're watching way too much Netflix, and you're not taking care of your sleep as much. You're slacking a little bit, and you're not quite hitting your water goal, right? So a little bit, it adds up. Excuse me. It adds up, right? And it adds up. And that's the reason why many of you will hit a wall or hit a plateau, when in fact, it's not a plateau. It's just complacency. I know it's hard to hear, but it's the truth. And it happens to everybody, all of us, including myself, including all of the other areas of our lives, right? We instantly see a little bit of progress and we kind of relax a little bit, but we can't relax a little bit when we get a little bit of results. We should keep pushing and keep doing the things that got us there, because that's what's going to help us continue on that momentum that we've built in the beginning. And that will lead to us building solid habits and build a solid foundation for a healthier life overall, regardless of now your physique goals, right? So walking more is one of those foundational habits. If I have someone who is not consistent in the gym, who is sedentary, who needs to lose fat, who needs to build a healthier lifestyle, I wouldn't even start that person with trying to tackle all of those things at the same time. I would just start that person walking more. Or if I meet someone that I literally cannot help physically or whatever, for whatever reason, the best advice that I can give to that person is go walk more. It's so underrated, the benefits of moving more throughout the day, walking more in general, and even cardio. But I'm not going to touch on that topic today on like intentional cardio, but there are research that shows that intentional cardio, when you're like putting a little bit more effort than normal, like you're not doing a HIIT cardio, you're not in high intensity, but you're moderate to low intensity cardio, is very, very, very beneficial to your overall health, heart health, brain health, cellular health, longevity, and it prevents a whole host of diseases. So just by intentionally, like, forget about a little bit your physique goals. Yes, this will help with that too, but forget about a little bit that part of that. I want to burn fat. Oh my gosh, I want to lose my thigh fat. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see results. Wait, chill, relax, girl. Like, relax, you're going to get there. But before, we need to understand what kind of life you're trying to build here. So if you're trying to build a life that you can sustain, a life where you're truly healthy, that you're there for your kids in the future, that you create healthier mechanisms to deal with stress and day-to-day anxiety and shit that happens, right? If that's the kind of life that you're trying to build, then we have to look beyond the physique, right? Beyond the physique. And walking is one of those things, because the benefits of walking more, and walking more, I mean, sure, ideally go outside, get some sunlight first thing in the morning, in the first hour of the morning. That's the creme de la creme for getting your steps in and sunlight and regulating your circadian rhythm. Like, that's the perfect ideal scenario, but we don't aim for perfection here, right? So if you can't do that, it's totally fine if you just hit the gym, hop on a treadmill and get your steps in, right? I don't care how you do it. Or if you get like one under desk treadmill and you get your steps in while you're on meetings all day. Like, I don't care how you do it, but just walking more, just moving more, being more active in general, this is going to add quality years to your life. Literally. I'm not even joking. I'm not even exaggerating. This is going to add quality years to your life by doing a lot of things here. And one of them is lowering your stress levels. Okay. Lowers anxiety. So sitting on your butt all day, they say that it's equivalent to like the smoking or whatever. And it truly is. It's a little bit exaggerated there, yeah, but it truly is that bad. Because when you're in this position all day, like you're all crunched over, like your posture is a mess, right? And our posture determines our energy, right? How we come out to the world. Notice that when you're speaking and you're standing up, or when you're on the phone, when you're in meetings, when you're doing presentations, that you're standing up, you breathe better, your chest is up, your shoulders are down, you just you have more confidence, and people see that through your posture and the way you speak. Now, when you're sitting down, you tend to be a little more closed off like this, right? And that's just one thing. That's just one thing. But like, if you're constantly bloated, especially after lunch, if you have those energy crashes after lunch, mid-afternoon, if you feel like you could take a nap between 2 and 3 p.m., if you're like bloated to the point that you have to open up one button of your pants, it could be because food is not just being digested properly in your digestive tract, because you're sitting the fucking down all day. Excuse my French. So you're like not helping your body to process food properly. So I'm going to talk about this, but like if you go for a walk, for a 10-minute walk after each meal, and again, it could be walking around the house, it could be on a under desk treadmill, at the gym, I don't care, but if you move your body, if you walk for 10 minutes after a meal, it helps decrease insulin sensitivity, which will help you feel better. So it will just help control blood sugar, and which I forgot the word, which will help you to don't have that energy crash. That energy crash is just like your blood sugar dropping right after a meal, and you're sitting down and you're like, So if you just go for a walk after that heavy meal, or even if the meal is not that heavy, just you get my point. Like just go for a walk. It will help digestion. It will help insulin sensitivity. It will help blood sugar distribution. It will help a lot of things. So you're going to feel better overall. You're going to feel more energized, right? And there's the energy when you come back from a walk, like you're just refreshed, right? You moved your body, you just like, you're ready for another work session. And even your posture changes, your voice changes, like you talk better, you communicate better, you showcase more confidence. And if you can, get a stand-up desk and an under desk treadmill, that would be the perfect combo for home office. And that's what I'm getting for myself, actually, because that helps a lot with getting more movement in and just overall well-being, just feelings of well-being. So before we even touch on the physique portion of things, just keep that in mind, that walking more and hitting your steps is just not something that I pulled out of my, right? It's not just something that I created because I think it's cool. It's because it's important to be more active if you want to live a healthier, longer life. And this is not just Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday. This is Monday to Sunday. Monday through Sunday, every single day should become a habit for you to go for a walk, to walk more, to be more active. We became so used to being lazy that we don't even pay attention on how lazy we are. Like we sit down in our car for half an hour in the drive-through just to grab a cup of coffee. You see the level that we got? And we sit down at work, we sit down at home, then we lay down to bed. when are we actually moving our bodies, right? Just for that one tiny hour block in the gym, that is not enough. And again, I'm not talking about physique transfer. I'm not talking about fat loss or muscle building. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just overall well-being, overall health. Okay. You feel good, you perform good, you don't have energy crashes, you don't have blood sugar issues, you don't have those bloating sensation mid-afternoon. You feel good. You feel good. And when you feel good, you show up differently, you show up better, you make better presentations, you show up at work better, you are better at what you do, you're sharper, right? Than when you're kind of sluggish and you need coffee in the afternoon, or you feel like that's probably because you haven't been moving your body intentionally. And the reason why I set up on your guys' calendar to walk the 10,000 steps a day every day is just a reminder that that's important and that should be done, right? Now, does it have to be 10,000 steps exactly? Ideally, yes. Ideally, yes, but it all depends on your starting point. So if you're averaging now 2,000 to 4,000 steps a day, start with the goal of 7,000 steps a day and stay consistent with 7,000 steps a day for a week or two, then bump it up. I'm going to give you all the tips now. I'm going to give you all the tips for hitting those 10,000 steps a day, but the ideal scenario would be to be around 8,000 to 10,000 steps every day. That's where the benefits will be more noticeable in terms of longevity, in terms of overall well-being. Okay, so let me share my screen with you. How to hit 10,000 steps a day, even if you have a desk job. Now here, this file is under, I don't think it's under anything yet. I don't think I've uploaded into the app yet, but I'm going to do that. And you guys should see a notification popping up on your app. Okay. So yeah, so here I'll go over why steps are useful. And here's something that's important. Explain that steps are not magic for fat loss. In terms of time efficiency, it's not the best. So remember that I started this conversation talking about overall health and not necessarily fat loss, right? It is efficient for fat loss, and I'll explain why. However, it's not the most time efficient because it does take time to get 10,000 steps in. It doesn't take a whole lot of time though, gotta be honest, but just to put that into perspective, okay? And achieving a step goal does not mean a calorie deficit, does not matter, right? So if you achieve 10,000 steps a day, doesn't mean that you can eat whatever you want. Steps can be hard to achieve for busy people, and that's what I'm going to go over here. High steps targets are not for everyone, so that's why most of you are going to have between 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day, and that's it. Increasing further would become really inefficient in terms of time, and there are other types of ways where we can increase your activity levels and increase the activity levels without adding more steps in. Okay, when I was prepping for the fitness competition last year, which I ended up not doing, but when I was prepping for it, I would have step goal 10,000 and 12,000 and 14,000 and 16,000, because at that point I think the gym was closed, the gym here in Ontario. So I had a high step goal to achieve, and it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time, but it also helps a lot. But again, I want to go for what's the most efficient, like the minimal effective dose. The minimal effective dose is between the 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day. But if you've been hitting a plateau, if things are not moving quite nicely the way you wanted, it might be because you have been slacking with your steps. Okay, it might be because more often than not, you're not hitting your steps, right? Okay, so now that I talked about all of those things before talking about fat loss and physique changes, let's talk about physique changes. Okay, so first of all, to lose fat, you need to be in a calorie deficit. No matter what all the zealots out there try to convince you, you have to be on a calorie deficit to lose weight, right? To lose fat, you have to be in a calorie deficit. You have to be eating less than you burn. It doesn't matter, like intermittent fasting is just a tool to help you eat less. Low carb, keto, vegan, whatever type of diet is out there, they're just labeled differently, but they all lead to the same place, a calorie deficit to lose weight. Okay, so it's as simple as that, but simple doesn't mean easy, right? So let's say, for example, that you have a TDEE, which is total daily energy expenditure, the total amount of calories that you burn in a day, right? Total amount of calories that your body needs to keep yourself alive, and total, including your exercise calories, including everything. Let's imagine that's 2,500 calories, and you create a 500 calorie deficit each day. Therefore, you're eating 2,000 calories a day, 500 less than what your body needs. Initially, you achieve fat loss, right? In fact, the first month of fat loss comes easy. Then 4 to 5 weeks in, it slows down, which is normal. And by 7 to 8 weeks in, it totally levels off, right? And people are often confused by this. Well, you're still eating 2,000 calories a day. Why is your deficit no longer working? Why? Like, if 2,000 calories for me was a deficit before, why is it not working right now? Well, this is just something that's called metabolic adaptation, which is a natural body's response to fat loss. Those of you who are going to experience metabolic adaptation are those of you who are very diligent with everything. Usually, you're very diligent with your nutrition. You're very consistent with your nutrition. You don't go over your calories very often or never. You don't. You keep doing your workouts. Like, you're very diligent and on point with your plan. And those of you at one point, and if you are on a fat loss phase, right, those of you are going to experience at some point some sort of metabolic adaptation, and that's normal. Those of you who are not very diligent, who have not been at least 90% consistent, will probably not experience metabolic adaptation, because what you will think to be a metabolic adaptation is actually just you slacking your plan. The extra licks, the extra bites, the extra this, the extra that ends up adding more calories to your day and removing you from the calorie deficit that you would need to be, right? So this metabolic adaptation will happen for those who are very diligent. And like, let's imagine this person here on the example, if she's truly eating 2,000 calories a day and she's being very diligent, at some point around week 8, week 9, things are starting to slow down. She's not going to lose weight the same rate as in the beginning. That is normal. That is normal. Okay, it's a body's natural response to fat loss. Your body will adapt to what you do. It will adapt to the calories that you're consuming each day. So if before your TDEE was 2,500 calories, it dropped a little bit to be closer to that 2,000 calories to be a little bit more efficient. Okay. So what happens is your body decreases NEAT. NEAT is your non-exercise activity levels, activity thermogenesis. Okay. Non-exercise activity thermogenesis is the NEAT. What are the non-exercise activity thermogenesis? Is the calories that we burn during doing things that are not exercise related. For example, me talking right now, moving my hands, drinking my water, going up and down the stairs. Those types of things are the NEAT, what we consider NEAT, okay? Fidgeting, tapping, just like when you're moving, like to adjust your posture, talking on the phone, going around the gym, things like that. Those are NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, because the body needs energy. The body burns calories to do these things, right? The more I move my hands, the more fat the more calories I'm burning. Okay, my body needs calories to do those activities, and and this contributes to you creating a calorie deficit. And the longer we diet properly, I have to emphasize this because you might come back to me and say, Andrea, I think I am metabolic adapted because I'm not losing weight anymore. Okay. All right. So let's first check your consistency, right? Shall we? Let's look at your consistency for the past 8 weeks. Where has it been? Have you been hitting your macros? Have you been following your meal plan 7 days of the week? Have you been really diligent with what you track and put it in your mouth? All right. Okay. Have you been hitting your step goals? Have you been putting intensity in your workouts, or are you just going through the motions? All right. So you're not metabolic adapted. If that's the case, if there's no consistency, there's no metabolic adaptation. There's metabolic adaptation for those who are diligent. There's metabolic adaptation for those who truly stick to their diet. Okay. And the longer we diet, the longer we stay, in fact, in a deficit. And let me tell you, a deficit is not fun. A fat loss phase is not fun, especially as you get leaner. The leaner you are, the more it sucks, because then the body is just fighting against it, right? So cravings are increased, hunger is increased. You're just like so tired and sluggish. So the leaner you are, the harder it is. So, all right, the longer we diet, the more weight we lose, and the more the body tends to experience metabolic adaptation. NEAT levels lower. In some people, it'll be very minimal. In others, it'll be more pronounced, and especially for those who are more lean, who are more in the leaner side. For example, like some people have done 12-week cuts, both at the same weight, same body fat level, same training goal, exact to DEE. And let's imagine that both people have a TDE of 2,500 and both started their cuts on 2,000 calories. One person finished their cut on 1,900 calories, only dropped 100 calories over 12 weeks further to get them their goal. The second person finished on 1,300 calories. She had to drop a lot more than the other person. Why? Because our bodies are different and they experience different levels of metabolic adaptation. So you cannot compare the rate of fat loss that you are going through to your friend's rate of fat loss that she's going through. You can't compare. Even if she's the same height, the same weight, the same age, the same blah, blah, the same everything. We all have different experiences with it. Our bodies will respond differently. Okay. So, just to touch on metabolic adaptation a little bit more, I don't think I just mentioned, I mentioned this here. Metabolic adaptation is when the body decreases movement in which you can't control. Okay. We move less, we expand less, which means that our TDEE is lowering. Why? Because the body's trying to conserve energy, fighting through the deficit. So we're going to fidget less. We're going to be more sluggish. So instead of going down the stairs, I'm going going to use the bathroom here, right? Instead of moving my hands while I'm speaking, I might just like lay back a little bit, right? So decreased NEAT means that your body is trying to lower the amount of energy output so it matches the deficit, it matches the calories that you're consuming, right? It lowers the amount of energy that it's burning each day. And you can't control, you can't really control that. Those are things that we don't even notice that the body is doing. Okay. So where does steps come into play here? Tracking steps is a great way to ensure their movement stays elevated when their body does not want to. So when the body is going through the metabolic adaptation, you will decrease movement. The deficit might decrease and things are going to move very, very slow. You can't control the movements in which the body is slowing down, but you can control steps, right? So you can continue to push through to get those steps in. So your TDEE stays somewhat elevated to keep the deficit that you need in order to continue to burn fat. Make sense? So having a step goal forces you to get up and move, ensuring you to keep your activity level consistent, right? We cannot control NEAT levels lowering. Okay, that's important to mention. But we can control our daily movement through steps. That's an easy way for us to control more movement during the day, right? Keep this consistent is the best way to ensure the calorie expenditure is being achieved over the fat loss period, okay? And like I said, the standard 10,000 steps a day protocol can be different between someone hitting a plateau or someone who consistently loses over the same period of time. All right. So if you're going to keep losing fat, ensure not just the calories are being met, but ensure that your daily movement is staying up and not dropping off. So for those of you who have gone through multiple phases with me, you know that we put more emphasis on hitting the step goal during the fat loss phase. And then during a reverse or doing a build or maintenance, we will decrease that a little bit and we can stay within the 7,000 to 10,000 steps a day mark without being too diligent in terms of hitting that 10,000 steps mark. Okay. Now, all right, 16 tips to help you hit your step goal. I know I've talked a lot, but here are the tips. So if you're not hitting, like I said before, if you're not hitting 7,000 steps a day consistently, start there and add 1,000 steps daily every week until you hit the 10,000, or walk more on the weekends to make up for the lower step count Monday through Friday. Like go for a hike with your family. So if you think about it, 10,000 steps a day times 7 days, that's 70,000 steps a week. So if you can't hit the 10,000 every single day of the week, maybe you can make it up on the weekends. Maybe you can go for a longer hike. Maybe you can go for a walk in the park. Something like that. You can at least keep the average the same. Okay. Start early, go for a short walk first thing in the morning. This is key. On average, for every 10 minutes, you're going to hit 1,000 steps. So if you go for a walk, a half an hour walk in the morning, that could be on the treadmill, that could be outside. Like if you wake up a little earlier, I know that some of you, this is not the case. All right. So for those of you who already wake up super early, this is not for you. But for those of you who still have a little bit of a wiggle room to wake up a little earlier, go for a morning walk. That will definitely help hit your steps. Okay. So let's say that you go for a half an hour walk, that will be about 3,000 steps already. So you start the day already at 3,000 instead of 0. Right? Then set reminders to go for a quick walk, especially after meals. Guys, let's be honest. Let's be honest. What do you do after lunch? Please don't tell me that you like shovel your food down your throat while you're working. I'm guilty of that sometimes, but what people normally do, they're just scrolling on their phones, right? They're just scrolling through social media. They're just doing nothing. Like they spend 10, 20, even 30 minutes on their phones and they don't even realize that, right? So you want to do that, you do that, but hop on a treadmill, right? Or go outside, take that time to listen to a podcast, to an audiobook, to a YouTube video that you've been wanting to watch, but it's too long, or I don't know, listen to a good music. Maybe you're having a tough day, go outside, put your headphones on and listen to a nice song that brings you joy, or don't listen to anything. Just go in silence and take that moment to, just be with yourself and with your thoughts. But even a 10-minute walk after a meal can improve your insulin sensitivity. It can improve your blood sugar distribution. It can improve your digestion in general. So 10 minutes, that's it. 10 minutes after each meal. It's not a lot. It's not a lot at all. Like one lap around your block. Go with your dog, take your kids. But that's something that it's doable for the most part. And it'll help you hit your steps at the end of the day. But set reminders on your phone, because if you're not used to it, it's not going to be just natural overnight. Then use wait time wisely. If you're, like I said, if you're scrolling on your phone, can you do that while getting some steps in, right? Can you hop on a treadmill while you scroll through social media? Then 5, work it into your day and intentionally get up more during the day. Some tips to help with that, like I know I love to keep like a big water bottle with me because it's easier and more convenient to drink tons of water, but make it inconvenient if you're having trouble hitting your steps. Like have a smaller water bottle so you can have, you'll need to get up and fill it up more often. Or even by having the bigger water bottle, make the conscious effort to drink more water, because you're going to have to get up to go to the bathroom. And try to go to the furthest bathroom possible. Okay, so try to inconvenience yourself there. And get up more, like literally get up more. And if this doesn't come natural, set up alarms to stand up for a little bit. Walk around, go to the bathroom, go outside, go downstairs, go upstairs. But intentionally, every hour, get up and move a little bit. Walk and talk. That's simple. So walk and talk. If you're on the phone, if you're on a meeting, that you can do that. Sometimes you can't, but there are some meetings that you can just listen to it, or you don't need to do a presentation or anything like that. So just walk while listen to it, while you're on the phone with somebody, right? Just walk and talk. Like yesterday, I did this. Yesterday, a friend called me and I knew that she was going to talk for 40 minutes. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go for a walk while we were chatting. And it got me 4,000 steps out of that phone call, right? And I would be, if I were to be here, I would be sitting down or just like, so walk and talk is a good idea. Go for intentional walks of 2,000 to 5,000 steps. So 20 to 50 minutes. Then move around the gym a lot. Set up a timer for walking breaks at work. Park your car further in the parking lots of grocery stores and malls. Again, inconvenience yourself. Okay, so we're always trying to look for the more convenient way to do things. Try to intentionally add inconvenience. Take the stairs whenever possible. Go up and down the stairs more often. So something that I do, I work on the second level of my house. I'm always going downstairs for a water bottle, and I'm always going to the bathroom downstairs instead of here, because I know that's going to help me add more steps in, right? So try to do that. What else? Force yourself to go to the bathroom. Okay, walk around if you have a work call. Not only helps a step, but if you're talking, standing up. Like I said in the beginning, your energy and confidence improves. Make it a habit to read through audiobooks or listen to podcasts while walking. Get a treadmill desk. Yes. I have the link for one here. Like, I'm not affiliated with any of those. I just found it on Amazon, super cheap. Take your spouse and kids with you. It can be a great bonding opportunity to talk about your day and be more present with each other. And that could be like, you could create the habit or create the ritual after dinner, where we all go for a walk after dinner, right? And we all talk about our day, and we all say something that we're grateful for, like whatever type of ritual do you want to create with your family. This is a good opportunity to do that. Right. And this is something that I've created with Caesar too here for us, because we have Roxy. We intentionally, like once or twice a day, we go together. We take her for a walk together. And that's an opportunity for us to talk, or even be in silence, right? Or even be in silence, but we're present with each other. We're getting our steps in, we're moving our bodies, we're getting fresh air, we're walking our dog, and we don't have our phones distracting us. Right? We don't have our phone distracting us. We don't have the television. We don't have anything else. We just have ourselves. So it's a good opportunity for us to talk through things, to talk about our days, talk about our plans, talk about things, and, or even, like I said, be in silence. Like it's good when you can comfortably be in silence with somebody else. Right. But yeah. This and the last one, drink more water. Like I said before, you will need to get up more to go to the bathroom and fill up the water bottle. And that's it, basically. Basically, those are the biggest things that I think are going to help you get those steps in. This under desk treadmill that I found on Amazon, only $260, guys. So cheap. So cheap. What else? There's this one here. 280, same thing, same concept. This is Amazon.com. So for those of you in the States, for those of you in Canada, there are Canadian versions. There are not too much more money than this. So it is well worth it, especially with the upcoming winter season. That's going to be here pretty soon. So if you have one of those at home, like I can even add a 17th tip here, which is watch Netflix while on the treadmill, right? Because those foldable treadmills are so light that you can like move around your house, and you can bring it to the living room and basically just watch your favorite shows while you get your steps in. That's another idea for you. Okay. And if for some reason you are not tracking your steps, most of you should be, most of you are, but if you're not, and you don't have an Apple Watch, you don't have a Fitbit, you don't have any step counter, like literally just buy a $30, like, no, this is $13. This $13 pedometer on Amazon, literally like just for step counts, Okay. Get this pedometer. There are all sorts of pedometers, and smartwatches and stuff. But if you don't want to spend money on a smartwatch, a pedometer is more than fine. Your phone is not really a great tool because you're not with your phone 100% of the time, right? So I guess that's it. That's it for how to hit your step count. I know this was a long call, but I wanted to touch on those specific points, talking about why tracking steps, why walking more is beneficial for you, why we do tracking steps, what the benefits are, the reasoning behind it, and then the tips for you to hit it. because more often than not, when we understand the why behind things, it makes us more compliant to doing the things because we understand why, we understand the importance of it. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know if it was. Let me know if it wasn't and it just made you more confused. I'm open to feedback. I don't get offended very easily, so you're not going to hurt my feelings if you just spill out the truth and say, hey, Andrea, this sucked. So but I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you thought. So comment in the WhatsApp group so we know. And yeah, this is it. So talk to you guys soon.